And what's going on, everybody? We are here for another one, and today we're going to be taking a look at Verticalsim's new Sarasota airport. They have modeled the inside of the terminal. So we are here at gate Bravo 6, and we're going to be operating Delta Flight 1297 up to Atlanta. As you can see, there's our flight right there, and got our airplane in the background. I tried going down the jet bridge, and there's not a whole lot to see. But before we head down to the airplane, let's take a look at this terminal. It's pretty awesome how more and more developers are making the inside of the terminals, which I think gives a awesome perspective. Changes things up a little bit. I know there are a few airports before on other simulators that did the terminals as well. One of my favorite things to do and prepared was to always put my camera on the inside of the terminal, and then have GSX running with the marshallers and park the airplane, watching from the perspective as if I were a passenger, watching their plane block in as they're getting ready to head out. So yeah, so this is inside the terminal. We'll jump outside real quick. We got some vicinity showers, vicinity thunderstorms, running live weather right now. Who knows if that's actually the case? Guess we'll find out once we get inside the airplane and look at the METAR. It's a good looking airport. Also have their, I think it's Greensboro, and something else. But they definitely put a lot of effort into their airports, put some nice textures on the ground, custom jet bridges. It all looks nice. And there's some other developers, not talking trash. I appreciate any developer that's willing to put some time into an airport. There's some other ones that looks like they use buildings from the SDK instead of making custom buildings. But yeah, this airport looks really nice. And in the typical Florida fashion, gotta have the air conditioners going. It's always hot. Yeah, this is nice. This is my first time taking a look at this airport. I loaded up earlier to figure out where I was going to park the airplane for the stream, and that's about all I've done to look at it. See what's going on. Oh, nothing here. Now we're back out on the ramp. So I guess, I'm not too familiar with Sarasota, but I guess this is obviously the terminal. And over here, see if there's anything inside of here. Nope. So it's just this terminal area that's been developed. Let's see what all's going on over here. She's got her FBO. Florida Suncoast helicopters. It's pretty cool. So you can tell that these are all definitely custom. This dude's just taking a break. And I guess she don't really know what she's doing. She's just staring at the airplane. And that almost looks like it would be a tower, but we got a tower over here. And that does look more like an actual facility. What would be pretty neat, and they may have done this, who knows, I would doubt it with the static airplane sitting here, but if these were somewhere that you could actually spawn your aircraft and then taxi out, that'd be pretty cool. Anyways, so let's jump down here and get into the airplane and get this thing rolling. So I got the aircraft already powered up. It's kind of been a long turn state, but we'll go ahead and get everything rolling. And everybody knows the init process for the fly-by-wire. So estimated 1 hour and 7 minutes en route. And we're going to be pretty heavy today. Got a full boat with some cargo. and some extra gas to deviate around any thunderstorms that we may encounter on the way up. And I don't know about y'all, but it seems like every time I have to hit this button twice. It's like it never does it the first time. Sim brief pulled up. Alright. Flight plan, Sarasota. We are departing off runway 32. Off the Circus 4. Camjo transition. Make sure that's in there. Yep. And let's get rid of this user fix. Then for the arrival, going to be, tell you what, before we go any further, let's check the Addons and make sure that they're actually landing in the direction that sim brief planned it. Let's see. So, arrival info, India, 1915 Zulu. It's a special. So I had something change. The one before, winds 230 at 7, 10 statute miles, scattered at 4,000, tower cumulonimbus, broken at 16, temperatures 30, dew point 21, altimeter 3005, lightning distant north. Thunderstorms east. Thunderstorms moving northeast. So we might have some thunderstorms either close or over the field, depending on exactly where they're at. Cumulonimbus distant north, tower cumulonimbus all quadrants. Simultaneous approaches in use. Visual 26 right, ILS 27 left. That's the one I'm planning on. And then visual 28. Make sure there's no low level wind shear advisories in effect. Doesn't look like it. Cool. Alright, so we will plan on 27 left. 27 left, looking for the Jedi. What transition onto the approach do we want? That'll work. And then I want the Lars transition onto the arrival. So run through it again. It works on the SID. I don't understand why it doesn't work on the arrival when putting in the transitions. Although I'm sure there's a reason. If 5x-wire could make it work, I'm sure they would. Alright, let's see, diffs. Obviously can't do that. RIP. I think SRQ. I think they've got a nav aid nearby. Yep. Put that in. We'll put Atlanta in the second one. Go to a NIP B. Zero fuel weight. Block fuel is, we got 14.3 on board. And looking at our release, that's how much we want. Make sure that actually uplifted to the correct amount. We're heavy. So I'm gonna go flaps 2. It was raining when I first started the sim, so we'll say that the runway is contaminated and it's wet. So that'll be a toga takeoff. We got our V speeds of 31, 32, 36. Cool, so that is set. Make sure constraints are on. probably not an Addons for Sarasota, so we'll just run a weather request. And while we wait for that, go ahead and get the APU going. Turn the seatbelt sign on since we're fueled. Should have already had that on. It's nice and hot. Get a company message. Alright, so winds are 270 at 11, 10 statute miles. View 6,500, scattered 8,500, temperature 31, and all in dew points 24, altimeter 30, 11. Yep, and it's raining. So obviously this METAR is old because it should say rain since it's raining. Let's shoot off for Addons just to see what happens. Still haven't gotten it. We'll just do arrival, see if that makes a difference. Got something now, let's see. Not available, just what I thought. Alright. So this SID does not have an initial climb altitude. But so we'll just call it, I guess, 5,000. Got buddy of mine is asking for the link to the live stream, so shoot that off to him real quick. Alright. So we are just about ready to go. We'll do a quick little departure briefing. So there's only obviously one of us, so I'll be the pilot flying and the pilot monitoring. We just went over the weather. We're going to be departing off from a 3-2. We've got 9,500 feet of runway. It is wet, so it'll be a toga takeoff. Any problems below V1, we'll stop the aircraft on the runway and we'll assess then. After V1, going flying. No terrain, weather is a factor. On this departure, we'll climb to a heading of 319 degrees, and then at or above 540 feet, make a left turn, direct, whatever, however you want to pronounce that. If I had to be a real pilot, that would probably be the worst part, or the thing I'd be the worst at, is just pronouncing all these stupid identifiers. And then so on and so forth for the rest of that departure. So we're going to be, we'll turn here, and then we're going to climb up north and transition off of the departure at Camjo. Alright, so I think we are ready to go. We'll pull the jet bridge. Slow this camera down a little bit. Good buddy of mine, Mike, made this livery. If you watched the last stream, the last one was dirty as well. I like the dirty liveries, it kind of gives them a little more character. And now we have another company message. Yeah, like I said, it just took forever for those to come back. Alrighty. So let's run through, check this real quick. So before start, checklist. Maintenance log and tail is onboard and check. Cockpit prep is complete. Gear pins, covers removed. Signs on auto aiders nav. Fuel 12.4 is required, and we have 14.3 on board. Altimeters 3011 set. EFB is checked. Windows, doors, and slides are closed and on. Beacons on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brakes on. Transponder. Transponders auto. Alrighty. Call up the tug. And then we will mosey our way on out of here. Alright. Brakes released. Clear to push. And we are clear to start engine 1. So we got bleed air. And I guess we better stop the pushback before we go into the rail. Alright, parking brake is set. Clear to disconnect. Alright, so good start on 1. We'll roll number 2. Alright, good start on number 2. So we'll reset the clock, 3-minute warm-up. And then we'll rock on and get out of here. Should we release the tug? We did. Yeah, there's a little bit of weather around there. Alright, let's go. Do a brake check. So start rolling. Pressure's green. No idea where a taxiway is. So if I remember correctly, we have to come all the way around. Yep, so we'll come all the way across. Get a little annoying to listen to, but it is like that in real life. Windshield wipers are pretty loud. Clear left, clear right. And we'll do flight controls check. Full left, neutral. Full right, neutral. Full up, full down, neutral. Rudder. Full left, full right, and neutral. Flight controls check is complete. Tell you what, it seems like the performance is taking a hit. I don't know if it's the weather or the airport. And I flew out of Orlando and into Lauderdale yesterday, and flew into Latin VFR's Lauderdale, which is just as nice quality as this one, so I can't imagine this airport would affect performance. Got a 3080 sitting in the computer there, so I think we'll be able to push a little more. Alright, so we'll do before takeoff. Ding the flight attendants, let them know about ready to go. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but the PA lit up whenever I was making that announcement. Alright, so before takeoff check, let's go. Gross weight comparisons complete. Pitch trim 30%, CG set. V speeds, V1 131, VR 132, V2 136. Toga. Flaps config 2. Flight options checked. Flight controls checked. ECMMO. Takeoff all green. Predicted wind shear on auto. TCAS code set TARA. Cabin crew is synchronized. We'll go below the line once we get to the runway. Now probably alright. Before takeoff below the line. Takeoff runway. Can't even see it. Runway 32 is confirmed. Fuel 12.4 is required. We got 14.1 on board. Engine mode selectors, normal bleed packs are set. Before takeoff checklist below the line is complete. Sure I was actually going to the right runway there, because that was super embarrassing if I went to the wrong runway on the live stream. Now obviously we're not on VATSIM or anything. I want to get used to this whole streaming deal before I start taking that dive off the deep end. Alright, so departing on a 319 heading. We'll get rid of my ugly face for the takeoff. Go. Mantoga SRS runway auto thrust blue. A little bit of a quartering headwind. Did not start set. Brake, gear up. It's 500 feet, make our left turn. Go nav.
1000.
Climb. Flaps 1. SB, flaps up. After takeoff checklist, landing gears up, flaps retracted, bleed pack set, APUs off. After takeoff is complete. We'll say we were just cleared up to flight level 170, so 17 blue. I think my buddy Rio's watching. Rio, if you're watching, let me know how the audio is now that we're up in the air and got that wind noise going. Make sure you still hear me. Probably missing a turn or something, but that's an awful pretty sight. Take a little screenshot like that. Oh, just in time. There's 10,000. Flight's on snow. And we'll accelerate. Still hand flying the airplane. Because it's, you know, it's a little too easy in an Airbus just to hit autopilot once you get off the ground. Airbus is such an awesome airplane to hand fly because it's easy. Ain't no trimming. Ain't about that trim life. See all the showers down there? Love it. Good on these flight directors. You know, this is kind of realistic too, with all the heat and the evaporation and the sea breeze effect, the ocean breeze blowing all that inland. It's pretty realistic to see a lot of clouds over land, and then hardly anything over the ocean. Love this too. You got this dirt and grime. Mike painted that real well. Alright, so 1,000 to go. So we're just cleared up to I don't know. We'll go up to our final cruise. We'll open climb it. Expedite. There we go. Open climb. I think we'll hand fly it all the way up to cruise. And here comes transition. Standard. Got a little cold beverage. Climbing like a rock. Daggone that. On yesterday's flight, it was a repo flight. Super light. It was just planned it for basic operating weight plus a few extra flight attendants. So I think if you try to do like bare minimum zero fuel weight, it won't. The fly-by-wire won't take it. I haven't tried it in a while. So I always plan a few extra just so that it'll actually take it, but it's still very, very light. And took off, went direct Melbourne from Orlando. It's like roughly 40-something miles in a straight line, and we were at 23,000 feet by the time we got to Melbourne. Today, full boat, some extra gas, and see just how slowly we're climbing. Climbing at 2,000 feet per minute. So my buddy Rio's in the chat. Rio, how was your flights over to Pensacola yesterday? I know you said you had a bumpy landing on American. I'm guessing that was into Charlotte. How was it going into Pensacola? And for anybody else who's watching, my buddy Rio is also a flight simmer. We do shared cockpit flights every now and then. He's also a flight dispatcher. So a co-worker of mine. If you haven't seen our shared cockpit video, you have to go check that out. I don't know how to do all that linking and pop-ups stuff. If I did, I would link it in the video. But yeah, you should go check it out. We're flying shared cockpit every now and then, and running the checklists and practicing some flows and stuff like that. Trying to get proficient. So once we get good at it, we'll do a full-blown live stream on Vatsim and all that fancy jazz. It's been pretty smooth. Kind of surprised with all the convective activity going on around us. Well, I guess it's not really convective. Radar's just painting a lot of rain. But it looks like we might get some convective activity once we get a little bit closer to Atlanta. So once we get to cruise, the next thing we'll do is we'll do a bit of an arrival briefing. We'll get the McDo programmed for the arrival. Got several buddies that are pilots, and one of them told me, in his opinion, if you have to throw out the boards, and it's, I guess, because ATC can always be a factor into it. If ATC starts you down late, then you don't have much choice. But if you get to come down at pilot's discretion and you got to throw out the boards, he says that's a poorly planned descent, but I think a lot of it too depends on the weight of the aircraft and what type of aircraft you're flying. Like I know 7.5 airplane never wants to come down, so I'm sure that's a factor. But that's what he told me. I always try to stay one step ahead of the aircraft. Try to stay one step ahead of whatever the next phase of the flight is. That way you're not rushing and getting in bad situations. Like yesterday, when I was coming into Lauderdale, there was a short period that I had the spoilers deployed. And I was flying straight and level. It's not and I was at my selected speed. Not really a situation that you want to be in. Good thing it's a simulator, not real life. This thing's really starting to struggle to come. So Buddy Rio says the flights were bad, very bad. Yeah, from the way that you described that first landing, didn't sound like it was too much fun. When Rio comes back home, he's going to be bringing home a brand new computer that he got built. I believe it's got a GTX 3080 inside, so I know he's pretty excited about it. I'm excited for him. And there's going to be a lot more stuff we're going to be able to do when he gets that new computer all set up. I'll be getting it just in time for the next update on the 27th. I'm super stoked about. Alright, less than 1,000 to go. And that cruise will engage the autopilot so we can start, maybe do some cinematic views, get our briefing going. You gotta excuse me if I burp a few times. I'm drinking a carbonated alcoholic beverage. Speed Alt Star. So we'll level off. Alt cruise. And we'll go autopilot 1. Probably one reason why I won't be the most popular streamer in the internet land is I get very fixated inside the cockpit, because that's obviously where everything's going on, and I tend to forget to do the cinematic views and try to make things look pretty. I'll try to remember to do that. At the Gulf of Mexico off our left wing. If you go probably 150 miles that direction, that's where Rio's at. He's chilling in Pensacola. I would love to see Pensacola done for the sim. I like flying into there. Also, if any developers ever watch this, please develop Monroe Regional Airport in Louisiana. That's my hometown. If y'all hear my what's left of my country accent, that's why I'm from Louisiana. Now that I work in professional aviation, we do a lot of things as flight dispatchers where we've got to communicate some very crucial information that if just one figure is written down wrong by the pilot that we're talking to, could really mess some things up. You know, stuff like V speeds. If I tell them some V speeds and they write something down that's faster than what I told them, or slower, especially slower, it can be a tail strike, or you know, it can cause some kind of problems. Zero fuel weights, and CGs, and all that stuff. So, from working in professional aviation career, when I talk to pilots, I really have to clean up my accent, make sure I enunciate as best as I can. So I think because of that, I've lost a bit of my accent. My buddies at home tell me all the time it's not nearly as thick as it used to be. I'm sure there's going to be some people watching this one day. They're probably from up north somewhere. And be like, bruh, you got an accent. There's places like this down here that it's my favorite kind of places in the world. Out in the country, wide open, where you can breathe and it's peaceful. There's not all the hustle and bustle of big cities, which I currently live in now. I live in Orlando, and I work in a different city where my airline headquarters is located, which is also a much bigger, faster paced city than Orlando. And so Rio says in the chat that he's going to be right back, and he's about to drink some moonshine. I actually have some moonshine in the fridge that I got from Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So when Rio comes back, maybe we'll cheer some moonshine together. Also, if any of y'all go check out the Ksrq cockpit video of me and Rio, Rio has a very interesting accent. Rio is from Malawi, which is in Africa. So it's really cool to listen to him talk. Growing up in a small town in Louisiana, I don't think I ever met anybody who was born and raised on the continent of Africa. So hearing his accent was pretty neat. And then when he moved to the States, he lived in Alabama for a while. So he's used to people like me with accents like mine. And that's why he's going to drink some moonshine, because he knows what it's all about. Moonshine's real good. Alright, so let's brief the approach as best as I know how. So I'll pull up the charts for this one. So coming in on the Jedi, the Lars transition. We'll cross Lars at or above 24,000 feet. And we'll do our best to comply with all of the rest of the constraints, since we don't have any VNAV. Typically I'll say screw it for, like, if there's a bunch like this one, it's not a bunch, but you got 4, then I'll typically just comply with like the last one, or second to last and last one, something like that. So anyways, Jedi 2 arrival, planning on ILS 27 left. So the frequency 27 left is 108.5. Final approach course is 275. Final approach fix is depot, however people want to say that, at 2,800 feet. We're planning the Cat 1. We got good weather, at least as of last time I checked. So decision altitude is 1199, just 200 feet off the ground. Touchdown zone elevation is 999 feet. Oh, here we go with all these radials and stuff. If we go missed, I not going to do this published missed approach. I'll climb to 1500, then a climbing left turn to 4000, and then I'll just swing it back around and land it. Not going to worry about. I'm not an instrument rated pilot, so I'm not even going to get into this stuff. Let's see. Where is our glide slope? So this is a standard 3-degree glide slope. We've got approach lights with a PAPI on the right, and again, climb to 1500, and then a climbing left turn to 4000, and then I'll just fly back. Decision altitude, 1099. I thought for some reason I was seeing the same figure, but obviously it's not. 1099, 1199. So, decision altitude that we're planning on, 1199, 200 feet off the ground. Minimum is half a mile, 1800 RVR. And we've got plenty of that so far. All it takes is one thunderstorm to roll on through, and then you might be shooting a Cat 2. So on 27 left, we've got 9,000 feet of pavement. As of now, we're planning on a dry runway, so we'll go auto brake low, and if we're doing good, we'll exit on November 4. If I suck today, November 2. If it's November 4, we'll take November Tango, cross 9 left, Tango Lima, and then we can go wherever, because it's Atlanta, and I think Delta's like pretty much the primary holder there, so just about any gate other than we won't go to the decon course because that's the regionals. Spirit's there as well. I think Seagate's have some Southwest, so I don't know. We'll probably just go to the closest thing we find. Weather is a factor, possibly. There's some sounds like some vicinity thunderstorms from the latest Addons that we read on the ground in Sarasota. No terrain. I think that just about covers it. So now let's get everything going in the airplane. We'll shoot off for another Addons. I wish we had auto update on here where the Addons would print off every time a new one's published. That'd be cool. So let's see. So we for sure know. Well, let's see what the new Addons says. Alright, info Juliet as of 1952Z. It's 2035, so another one will probably come out shortly before we get there. And looks like we got some weather out ahead. Not that direction. And most times, by the way, I forget that I got this stupid camera of my ugly face, so I try to remember not to point at anything down here. Alright, so info Juliet 1952 Zulu, winds 230 at 6, 10 statute miles, scattered at 4,100, towering cumulonimbus, broken at 12,000, broken 16,000, broken 25,000, temperatures 31, dew point 21, altimeter 3014. Let's just print this out. I like the format when it's printed out more than reading it off the McDo. I know, high maintenance. But we're going to need it anyways for this. Alright, let's see if I can read this. So lightning distant, southeast, thunderstorms to the east, moving, thunderstorms east, thunderstorms moving northeast, towering cumulonimbus, all quadrants, simultaneous approaches in use, visual to 26 right, ILS 27 left, visual to 8. So, uh-oh, we got birds in the vicinity. Watch out. I don't think there's no Hudson around Atlanta. Yeah, so the weather's pretty much the same. Let's, oh, I thought that said Las Vegas at first. This is probably an old. Come on, bro. It's probably an old radar image. But these, good lord, have to be the thunderstorms that it's talking about, which are probably over somewhere in this area now. Tracking northeast. Hopefully it'll be no factor, but I guess we shall see. So our departure time off of SimBrief was 2000 Zulu. Let's see if we met that. I wouldn't even try to make no kind of departure, on time departure, whatever. I cannot talk while I'm multitasking, as you can see. Oh, look at that. We were out. We released the brake 1 minute before departure time. Isn't it nice? Alright, so perf, let's get this all set up. Lord, I cannot read this thing in the... Alright, 230 at 6, 31, 3014. Oh, thank you. Let's keep that shadow going. Yeah, it just wants to mess with us. 230 at 6. Nope, wrong box. $3014 and 31. Transitions 18. And 200 on the radio. Since this is a precision approach. On the ILS push buttons and auto brake low. Cool, we're staying to the east of that weather, or the west of that weather. Let's see if we can find that weather on here. I don't think that's it. That's probably too close. Or it's this stuff that's moved over. I don't know. It would help if I probably just look at where we're at on here. Okay. So with this in mind, we're about here. So this is probably super old, and it's all this stuff is probably over here. So I guess the flight sim is just making up weather. Because there's nothing to the east of us in real life. But anybody that flies this is not going to be surprised by any means. Rio, you got that moonshine yet, sir? If you got your moonshine, I'll go get my moonshine. But I'm only going to get my moonshine if you tell me that you have some, you have yours. Gotta love a nice cold alcoholic beverage. And of course, drink and sim responsibly. Don't be throwing no barrel rolls or attempting no loops in the Airbus. Passengers getting thrown everywhere. It's just not professional. looks like now we're back online. For some odd reason, lost internet there for a second. I have not lost internet in maybe a year. So of course, I'm gonna lose internet as soon as I'm trying to live stream or do something important but not important. So, I think I'm going to take a quick second and go grab a moonshine out of the freezer in honor of my good buddy Rio, who's watching this stream, and be right back. So, give me just one sec. And I'll be right back with you. Alright, we are back. And I have to say, I'm a little disappointed. Bought this moonshine from Old Smoky Tennessee Moonshine in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And, let's see. Well, I guess this is a low one. It says it's 40 proof. Had some pickles from them that were like 75 or 80 proof, something like that. But anyways, this it's been in the freezer since November, and it's very slushy. And hard liquor like this, for anybody who doesn't know, I don't know why you wouldn't. Moonshine's not supposed to like really freeze at all. It's not supposed to be slushy. But anyway, actually, hopefully I can get this thing open. It might be frozen shut. Alright, so in honor of my good buddy Rio, who survived his terrible landings on American Airlines yesterday, I'm gonna guess that was probably a 737 that Rio was on. But yeah, we'll take a few swigs of some moonshine for my good buddy Rio. Still got a kick, even though it's slushy. But I have to say, I kind of really like the slushiness. I don't know, it's a whole different spin. It's pretty good. It will probably melt really fast since it's out of the freezer and it's some hard liquor. Rio, this is all your fault. If I get drunk on a live stream, it's all your fault. Just sit that over there. It's a little cold in the hands. Alright, so back to the important stuff. So we're roughly 120 miles from Atlanta in a straight line. But can't let that fool you. So let's check. Flight plan page, 136 miles total route left to fly. And go to the Prague page. Let's do KATL 27 left. And from our present position, we are 125 miles from the touchdown zone, or I guess the threshold of the runway. We're at 32,000 feet. Typically I would start down around 120 miles. 120 miles of the flight plan left to fly. I'll start down about 120 miles if I'm at 38,000 feet. But since we're at 32, I don't know. Let's call it 110 miles. We'll do 110 and that should work out decent. I don't know how other people do their descents in the fly-by-wire since there's no VNAV, but I've seen some do like they put the airplane in managed descent mode, which obviously is not managed because there's no VNAV. I've seen some do open descent, which is just going to be, you know, very excessive descent. I do mine at vertical speed. It's kind of a pain in the ass for some, I guess, but for me it's always the easiest thing. I feel like I've got the most control and I can just kind of eyeball it and just dial in that descent as we're coming down, change it as needed. So that's what I do. But if anybody else has better methods, let me know. Yeah, this stuff's already like halfway thawed out from where it was. And Rio, if you're still watching, man, let me know what flavor moonshine you're drinking. This is Blackberry Moonshine, and it is pretty good. It's not the strongest, but it's pretty good. If you ever go to Gatlinburg, they have moonshine tastings. For $5, you can try 6 or 7 kinds of moonshines, and they start you with the strongest. They'll start you just with the clear, 100 proof, I believe, and then you work your way down. And we took that first shot. We didn't know if we were going to be able to make it through the rest because it burned. I mean, it was really smooth, but it burned on the way down. But after that, like I said, they walk you down, and it's not so bad. Next thing you know, we're buying some, taking it to the hotel room, and drink a little more. Got some really good breweries up there too. I think Yeehaw Brewery was one that we went to. Got some really good beers. Alright, let's see where we're at. 103 miles from the runway in a straight line. 112. So we'll go ahead and start. Working our way down. The first constraint is at or above 24,000. And that is at Lars. This thing's got so much BS data, can't read nothing. Alright, so we've already passed Lars, and we're definitely not at 24,000 feet, so whatever. There's no live ATC, so we can do what we want. I can't stop drinking this stuff. If I drink it all, though, my girlfriend will get mad because she'd be mad I didn't save some for her. The last time we drank it was on her birthday in Nashville. So let's compare this with what the plate says. So Dister, 280 knots at or above 14,000. This says, I guess that's supposed to mean below. I don't know. And the speed's wrong. But, you know, what do you expect? It's not steady level or high fidelity. It's a hell of a lot better than where this airplane was when it came out. So kudos to the fly-by-wire team. It has been awesome watching the progress of this airplane. should also confirm that 108.5 275's tuned, and it is. Put this in VOR1, clear out number 2. So if I had to go missed, if I had to fly this this published missed approach, don't think I could. On heading to 265, so that's easy. And inbound on RMG VOR radio 165 to duty, DMA 31.3. Yeah, I couldn't do it. Which, you got GPS, I'll probably just go RNAV over to that fix and hold that way. The poor man's way. What was that VOR? RMG. No idea who that is. So what would be pretty cool, so obviously you can see we got some rain near Atlanta. It looks like it could be over the field. Alt star, and keep on coming down. What's the next one? 10,000, we'll go down to 10. But it'd be pretty cool. So if we got the rain over the field, it'd be nice if we fly this approach, and as we get close, we actually go through some rain. Like you see physical rain on the windscreen. That's the same rain from what we're seeing on radar. I know that sounds stupid, but yesterday I flew into some rain showers in the Lauderdale area. You can see the rain shafts. I clearly flew into them, and nothing on the windshield. Kinda ruins the immersion. But I don't even care, because in prepared, there were no rain shafts. So I just like having rain shafts. It's pretty neat to look out the window and see isolated showers and rain shafts. Rainbow's kind of cool too. I showed one of the pilots at my crash pad something separate with Flight Sim, but I saw the rainbow and it was like, yeah, it wouldn't be that prevalent. But even though, it's still pretty cool that you see something like that in the sim. Moonshine's good. Probably not the best thing to drink this time of year in Florida. It's only super hot outside. You know what? I just realized that my overlay ain't working. Let's see if we can fix that. I don't know. This is my second time doing this overlay stuff. So probably won't be able to. Alright, so we'll see if it works or not. I think it may have died when I lost the internet connection, or maybe it wasn't even working in the first place. I try to like get this stuff all preset and prepared and everything before starting the stream, but yeah, I'm a noob. Alright, so we're gonna have to expedite this descent. No, we don't. So if you look, based off of this, which we all know this is not accurate, but for 3 waypoints, we've got 8,000 feet. So I don't really need to get low that fast. 58 miles, and we're at 18,000 feet. $30.14. But even still, we're gonna expedite this a little bit. We're heavy, so it might be kind of hard to send fast and slow down. Alright, so while we're coming down, do the approach checklist. So approach checklist briefing is complete. We did that very long-winded briefing. Approach stable by 1,999 feet, which is touchdown zone plus 1,000. So touchdown zone is 999 feet. Add 1,000 to that, and you got 1,999 feet, which is sea level, as best that I know. As long as you're, at least in my book, from what I've seen in the jump seat, as long as you're stable by 1,000 feet off the ground, when the airplane says 1,000, you're good. ECAM status is checked. Seatbelt signs on. Minimums 200 feet. Engine anti-ice 1 and 2 is off. Altimeters 3014 set. Approach checklist is complete. So future plans on this channel, depending on how many people, like how this thing grows and if people actually watch. I think today I've seen 2, maybe 3 people watching this thing, which for anybody who watches a lot of flight sim streams, it sounds ultra lame, but for me, it's pretty cool. Even if I got one, even if it's somebody like my buddy Rio texts me, hey, about to stream, and he gets on, and that's the only person that watches, that's cool. I just enjoy doing this, and I've been flight simming since 2009. It gets kind of boring flying by yourself, like you, especially like I've got to ride in a jump seat of an Airbus tons of times. I've somewhat learned some flows and know probably more than the average flight simmer. So for me, like, I want to share my knowledge with other people, and just the best way to do it is this way. Level off real quick, slow down to 250, and then we'll keep the descent coming. Yeah, so just kind of, it's getting old. Flying by myself, which me and Rio will, like I said, we do some flights together. But I don't know, just want to do something more. And I'm kind of a techie person too, so all the electronic type stuff that comes with streaming is pretty cool to me. So the next thing I plan on doing, if I keep up with this and people actually watch, I would like to get a better webcam thing for so y'all can clearly see my ugly face. Just 10,000 feet. Going to
please prepare for landing.
Please prepare for landing. Get a studio microphone with one of them real fancy arms that swings out about and around. Probably get a stream deck so I can make my transition stuff fast, which I've just learned about this OBS studio and doing all this production stuff as of like yesterday. And this thing's going into approach phase like way early. What else? Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna get all the gizmos and gadgets that a lot of these streamers have. I'm not doing the lights though. I don't understand how any streamer has those super bright lights in their face while you're trying to. I don't know. It would kill my eyes. But I don't know. We'll see. The more people that watch, the better we'll make this thing. But I hate how the sim does this elongated mess. Where you at? Direct. There we go. But everybody's got to start somewhere. It'll take some time. I just don't know if I have the personality for the whole streaming thing. I don't know if I can be like the typical YouTube streamer and be like, what did I say? What's up, guys? Or all that mess. Man, I don't know if I can do all that. But you know, if I got a couple hundred people watching, maybe, because you actually feel like you're talking to someone. Right now, I feel like I'm just talking to myself to try to occupy dead space and silence so that there is none. And it helps to drink moonshine while you're doing it. So yesterday, coming into Lauderdale, I floated a little bit, which is Captain Canada's #1 rule, no floaties. But I landed at negative 93 feet per minute, which is pretty smooth. So maybe today I can make it pretty smooth again, and maybe not float as far. That'd be nice. If this were the real world, we would be not talking right now, because in the real world airplane, once you're below 10,000 feet, it's sterile cockpit, and you cannot talk unless it pertains to the flight. This ain't no real airplane. This looks an awful lot like the view on my outro video, so we should probably change that so that nobody's watching the same thing over again on the outro. Ooh, Lord, big old stutter. This airplane's gonna freak out when it releases. That wasn't too bad. It's doing that because I've got the static airplane mod from FlightSim.2, which I have to say, love it. It saves you on the frame rates, but you still get some nice airplanes sitting next to you, even though all the Airbuses float in the air. That's a pretty cool angle. But yeah, when you get close to the airports, they gotta load up, and it takes a little extra time. Alright, so we'll go ahead and arm Lokestar and start slowing her down. Right where we want to be, 5,000 feet. We'll keep it coming down. We are 15 miles from the runway. There's a glide slope. Slow that descent rate down a little bit so we can let that glide slope catch up with us. And we'll go flaps 1. Keep on slowing her down. Go to 190. Actually, let's call it 185. Just a little cushion below that flap 2 speed. Glide slope's captured. Seems like we're struggling a little bit to slow down, so we'll go ahead and drop the gear. 10-mile final. And we'll go Cat 3 single, Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1 and 2.
2,500.
First phase has already been confirmed. This approach altitude is 4,000 feet. And we'll go flaps 2. Flaps 3, 7-mile final. And we definitely got some rain on the field. Flaps full. Armor spoiler, should have done that when I dropped the gear. Landing checklist. Cabin crews advised. Auto thrust speed, auto brakes low, EKMMO landing all green, geared down, signs on auto. Ground spoilers, arms, flaps, config, full. Landing checklist is complete. And we have been cleared to land. Turn them lights on. Stable. My airplane. Little windy, quartering headwind from the left. General rule of thumb in the Airbus, just keep coming down,
500.
start your flare at 30 feet, and then obviously retard the thrust levers. When it says retard, God, this approach is terrible. Like a drunk person loving Rick Moonshine, I ain't drunk.
300, 100 above. 200, 200. 200.
You want to say minimums today? Well.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
That was firmly planted. Hey look, we got rain on the windshield. Spoilers, reverse green, decel. too. I don't know why the brake fans are hot, or why the brakes are hot. I mean, it's kind of warm outside, but it was auto brake low, and I did not use manual braking until at below 60 knots. Alright, so we'll attempt to clean up the airplane while we're on the roll. We'll slow it down, give me some time. Brakes are warm. And we'll say we've been cleared to cross. Clear left and clear right. I don't know what the landing rate was on that. Forgot to look up. Alright, we are clear of the runways. So yeah, today's goal was to not float and try to grease it, since yesterday I floated and greased it, and I was successful in not floating, but that was probably at least a 200, 250 feet per minute plant on the runway. I don't know how there's a way you can tell before or after the fact. We'll park next to this Airbus. Got that CO next to us on the left, and it looks like his reversers are out. Maybe not. Anyways, hopefully before too long we'll have that Phoenix A320CO in our hands to test out. Alright, so it's been 3 minutes for our engines to stabilize. So we'll go ground power. Shut down engine 2. Engine 1. We'll clear out this stupid right here. And now we can turn on the brake fans now that we're at the gate. You don't want to turn those on immediately once it lights up, and give it some time. And then you can turn the brake fans on. Beacon off, seatbelt sign off, pumps, and then we'll call up the jet bridge. And man, just like yesterday, I forgot to run the after landing checklist, which is exterior lights set, flaps retracted, TCAS standby, engine mode selectors normal, ground spoilers disarmed, radar and predictive wind shear off. Now for the parking checklist. Actually, let's do this because I'm just curious. Compared to the Sarasota airport, where You kind of have a weird tint when you're looking through the window. Now you can't really tell there's even a window there. Alright, so parking checklist. Slides are disarmed, I guess. Engines off, seatbelts off, exterior lights are set, ice protection off, fuel pumps off, yellow electric pump off, chalk signal's been received, parking brake is off. Consider heavy rain. I don't know what you would do if you got heavy rain, other than maybe if you got wind, then stick your rudder in the appropriate direction. Perform post-flight inspection if required. Well, I would say that we just did that. Looks like the brakes cooled back off. So we can turn the brake fans off. Cool. And we'll leave it like this for the next crew. Alright everybody, well, for those who actually came by and watched, which is probably just Rio, thanks for watching. Thanks for drinking along. And probably do another stream on Monday. Figure out something cool to do. Maybe we'll go, we'll do a couple short ones. We'll go into Sarasota. I've read that there's some pretty cool approaches where you come in over the water. So we'll do something like that. Maybe go shoot some cool approaches out in like San Jose. I don't know. Figure out something cool. But anyway, thank you everybody for coming along. And until the next one, y'all have a good one.